Hello everyone, welcome to AI Brahma YouTube channel. My name is Ganesh. In this master document automation video series, we will learn document handling. Every organization will have a different way of getting a document from their client. Example, one might have an Outlook to get a document from their client, or they will store their documents in SharePoint or ShareDrive or OneDrive. We will call it as file watcher. Nowadays, companies are utilizing chatbots or a co-pilot to get a document from their clients. How we can handle these three different way of getting an input in Automation Anywhere, everything we will learn in this session. If you are having any other way of getting an input, please comment your thought in this video comment section. That will be very helpful for everyone. We will first see how we can get an information or a document from the Outlook. Then we will go for a file watcher. Then we will see the Copilot form. Without wasting the time, let's dive into Automation Anywhere Workbench. Let's consider first Outlook as an input. So example, your clients are getting an input over the Outlook. Then how we can download this particular invoice from the Outlook, which is having a certain subject line and body of the email with an attachment. We will directly jump into the Automation Anywhere. Let's go into the Automation Anywhere taskbot. Here I'm having a document automation taskbot. Let's consider a Outlook. So whenever you want to connect with Outlook, because it's a third-party Microsoft application, you have to go with a mail email activity. In this, the first step is connect with your email. You can connect an email via Outlook or email server or AWS server. We have a three different way of connecting a Outlook. For the demo purpose, I'm taking a very simplest way, that is Outlook. So whenever you have an Outlook installed in the machine, you can use this Outlook without using any authentication method. But you can try with email server if you're having a email server set and AWS server in your organization. Let's go with the Outlook and refresh your option. So now this will read your installed Outlook application and it will understand what are all the email inboxes you are having in this particular Outlook. And in my case, I'm having three different mailboxes. I'm taking ai.brahma@gmail.com. This is my default email box. Here I'm getting a client emails example. So now I want to read this particular email box. Just make sure now we are connecting this particular Outlook, but how we can read one by one email from the Outlook inbox. To read an email, we have to utilize a concept called loop. If you are very new to the Automation Anywhere or any technology, I would suggest just go and learn the looping concept, which is already uploaded in my YouTube channel. So now we have a loop, and as part of the reading an email, we have to go with the iterator loop. Here you have to search with email. Most important part is session. Whenever you are connecting with an email, you are giving some session as a unique identifier. The same session name should be there in the looping session also. And what is the type of email you want to read it? So we have a three different types, right? So one is read, unread, or all. So in the demo case, I'm taking unread email only, and the best practice also for the enterprise is unread email concept. Whenever you are taking a read email, it might read all the email which is present in your email box. Please make sure what is the technique you want to utilize in your organization. That's very important. So I would suggest go with the unread email and specific mailbox. So currently I'm having a document in the inbox, but I would suggest the best practice is create a Outlook rule if you are using a Outlook and transform all your particular documents into particular folder in the Outlook. Then read a particular folder from here. So whenever you are having a subfolder, you have to use a slash, and you can use any of the folder name. So example also automation anywhere is given here. You can do that R&D. But for the time being, I'm using the inbox because my email is in the inbox. So now I'm just taking a unread email, and inbox is my email inbox name and the subject. So if you're having a specific subject, the best practice is also having a specific subject to identify the document input. Certain cases we can't expect a same subject, but at least you should have a couple of subject lines which is constant. Then you can save some document classification or learning instance cost. I will tell you in the upcoming session how we can reduce the cost of automation anywhere licensing. Everything we will see in the next videos. And now, if you're having a specific subject and you know always the client will share in this subject line itself, then you can just take that subject line, and I would suggest this subject line you add it in the configuration sheet. What is a configuration and how we can create that? Everything I have already uploaded in my YouTube channel. Please go and watch that series. Definitely you will get to know the framework part also. So now coming into the subject line, if you're aware of the subject line is always a constant, then you add a double quote and add your subject line. Again, here also automation anywhere is giving a beautiful example how this works. So example, sometime you have a contains method. Example, invoice processing with today date the clients are sending in the subject line. You wanted to ignore that particular date from the subject line, then don't use a double quote. Whenever you are using a double quote between the like subject line with a double quote, then what will consider, okay, this is exact match, I need to look into the inbox. But whenever you are using a plain subject line like this without using a double quote, then your bot will understand, okay, so now I need to use a contains method to get a information from the email inbox. I hope you have understand this. If you're having any question, please comment on this video comment section. Next, again, if you are aware who is sending an email, some clients are having a only one email from, right? Certain activities will be a auto emails, right? So in that cases, definitely you can use this field, but for the time being I'm using a blank because it's a optional field. And also if you want to use a date range from this date to this date only, we have to pick the document, you can add that also. And if you want to read a body of the email, then go with the HTML format or the plain text. I would suggest go with the plain text because whatever users are using the same content, you will get it. You may have a question when we can use a HTML. If the users are sending an information in a tabular format over the email, example here they are sending an information with a table format, and you need that information also in the tabular format, then go with a HTML format. Then you will get a exact structure in the HTML. Then you can parse with a HTML parser. So now you have to store this output information in the dictionary variable called dic email details. I'm using here the camel case. The best practice is for variable convention and email detail in the camel case. Create and select and save. So here you are connecting your Outlook and looping through that particular inbox. So now how we can read that information or download that attachment, right? So as I'm already aware of it, so this is having a attachment, but still if you want to validate this email is having a attachment or not, then you have to use a dictionary variable with a key. So when I say dictionary variable, how we will get to know what are all the keys are available in this dictionary variable? To get to know that, let's add a message box. I'm just dragging and dropping this message box and I'm just adding a hi. So now let's use a debug and add a variable called email details. So let's see what is exactly we have in the DIC email detail. Example, it is having a one attachment. Yes, we are having a one attachment. To get to know this email is having a attachment or not, you can use this particular key. Let me just copy this and keep it in a notepad. So let's take a notepad and have it here. The same way you can use email to email CC, and when it is sent, everything for your validation purpose, and also the email subject. I need only how many attachment it is having. In case if it is having an attachment, I need to download that particular attachment for this particular demo. So I hope you have understand why exactly we are checking this particular email details dictionary variable, right? So now let me stop the bot and just close it and stop it. So now let's add an email activity called, let's take a save attachment to save that particular attachment. Before that, let's add a condition called if. Let me just drag and drop, and inside that I'm using a save, and here I'm using a number because I want to confirm this particular email is having an attachment or not. To get that information, we are using email notification attachment, right? So now let me add this one from the dictionary variable email detail, and the key is email number of attachment, add it. And this is a number, so you have to convert this into dot number dot to number and equals to 1 because I'm handling only one attachment in this particular demo. In case if you're having a multiple attachment, or if this particular email is not having an attachment, then you can use a email trigger or exception handling to get notified by your user. So now I'm adding a save attachment. Here the most important part is where you want to save this particular email or email attachment. I want to save this attachment, let's say in the pre-processing folder. So I'm just deleting whatever existing I'm having. I'm just copying this folder path, and let's come here over here and add it. And again, the best practice is always take a data from the configuration sheet. For the demo purpose, I'm just using a hard-coded value. And most important part, don't forget to close your session or disconnect your session. This is what I have seen in a lot of scenarios. The developers are missing close sessions or disconnect the session with a third party application. If you're not disconnecting, it might have a session already started in the background, and it will cause an error whenever you are running a second bot or second loop. So basically you have to use a email, and in the email you will see the disconnect, and again whenever you are disconnecting, this session is again the same session whatever you have used for connect. Okay, this is what we call it as get the document from your Outlook method. And I'm just adding a step here, and I'm just making a note of this. Okay, this particular step we covered for Outlook. Let me just take all this information and keep it inside this particular step and disable this. So now what is the next option we have to get an input? That is share drive or a SharePoint or any your local folder paths or OneDrive. If you're working with a shared drive, you have a shared drive or a SharePoint method to connect with that particular license and get the file. If you are having directly your file in a share folders, example, let's consider your data already there in pre-processing folder like this, then how we can get the information, like what is exactly the name of the PDF or name of this PNG file, or what is exactly the extension of this? How we can get this information? Let's see that. This we will call it as file watcher, or to get a information from the folder. To get the information from the folder, let me add a step called folder, and the same technique you can utilize for your SharePoint or OneDrive. basically OneDrive and SharePoint is having a separate connection in Automation Anywhere, or you can use the different technique to get information from the SharePoint. But I'm just using a local folder or a OneDrive connected with my local folder. You can see OneDrive is connected already with a application called OneDrive. So now I'm just taking this information of the document using again the loop, because the loop is very important to get one by one information from any of your applications or any of your folders, or the number or the CSV file or a text file or your Excel file, right? Basically the iterative way, if you want to get a same information, then you can use a loop. So now I'm using a folder, so I'm just considering here in the iterator for each file in a folder. Again, here you have to give a file path or a folder path where you are having a file stored. Maybe it is in the OneDrive, or maybe it is in the local folder or a shared drive. Let's consider this is a OneDrive or a shared drive or a local folder. I'm just taking this particular path and I'm just adding here. So now you can create a dictionary variable. Let's create a dictionary variable. Again, in the best practice, you can use camel case, the three keywords, and the file in a folder. I'm using a camel case. I'm just creating this particular dictionary variable. Again, how we can get a dictionary variable information? What are all the keys are available in the dictionary variable? For the certain activities, Automation Anywhere is already mentioned in the loop what exactly they have in the dictionary variable. Example, here if you can see, access the name key to get a access file name, and extension key to get a access the extension. So if you want to know what is exactly the name of the file, you have to use a name as a key. If you want to know what is exactly the extension, then you have to use an extension as a key. So let me just go back to the normal zoom, and now I want to get that particular information, example in the message box. Let me just drag and drop, and here I'm using a dictionary variable called file in a folder, and let me add expression, and I will call it as name. Why? Because the first I need a name of the file. So I'm using here name of the file, and the same way I need an extension of the file. Let's say extension of the file. Let me add again the dictionary variable called file in a folder and add an expression extension. Again, this information you have already seen in the loop note action from the Automation Anywhere, or you can directly go and see in the document section what is exactly the technique to get an information from the file in a folder. So now if I run this bot, what will happen? Bot will go and search the particular folder, and it will try to get an information from the each file one by one, because we are using the iterator loop. So now if you see, the name of the file is invoice and the extension of the file is png. Like this you can utilize your folder option. I hope you have understanding how we can get a document automation input from the Outlook or any folders like OneDrive or a shared drive or your local folder. For the SharePoint, I'm adding a video link in the video description. Please watch that video to get information about how we can automate a SharePoint to get a document from the SharePoint. If you're having any confusion or a question, please comment on this video's comment section, and please watch the next video series to get a more information about document automation.